Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor and privilege to welcome you to the first ever Twink Say What picks live on YouTube. And today we are going to be going over UFC Fight Night Houston, Sean Strickland versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. So to kick things off, we are going to the prelims. And I will be completely honest with you. The first fight on the card is two women that I have never heard of. I've never seen either of them fight, but it's Carly Judas and Juliana Miller. I don't know either of them. I only know the top 15 for most women's classes. I don't know these two. However, Carly Judas is like a minus 700 favorite. So my first pick of the night, we're going to go with Carly Judas because I'm going to hope that the odds makers are right on this one. If it turns out to be a Peyton Talbot versus Raoni Barcelos type of thing, it is what it is. But I'm going to go with Carly Judas on this one. So for the first fight of the night, let's take Judas. Now, this is going to be a fun one. Jordan Levitt and Yadier Del Valle. Jordan Levitt, as we all know, is very famous for one reason and one reason only. He got twerked on by Paddy Pimblett. A lot of men would like to be in his scenario. A lot of women, too, judging by how TikTok seems to favor Paddy Pimblett a ton. But it is what it is. So he got twerked on by Paddy Pimblett. And Yadier Del Valle is famous for an entirely different reason. He was involved in a huge match-fixing scandal, if none of you remember this. He was facing a guy named Isaac Dulgarian. Dulgarian came in as like the minus 230 favorite, and Del Valle was like a plus 180 underdog up until the fight occurred. Then he dropped to like plus 100. And not only that, the odds of Del Valle by first round submission or first round finish, I think it was, went from like plus 1,600 to plus 800. And Dulgarian has never posted since. He kind of stopped his career after that. He hasn't posted on Instagram. He's basically MIA. But he did it for some money. But Yadier Del Valle is legit. He's a good fighter. And I think that Levitt is decent, but he's also a tiny bit old. I don't remember how old he is, but I feel like he's in his 30s. Del Valle is 28, 29. He's a younger, hungrier guy. He's 10-0. He's good, too. His wins haven't been bad. He's just pretty slow-paced sometimes. He doesn't fight as often as he should. But for the second fight of the night, we're going to go with Yadier Del Valle. I think they call him the Cuban Problem. So give me the Cuban Problem to win against Jordan Levitt. I mean, granted, like, you can't even be mad at Jordan Levitt. One of his losses is literally Paddy Pimblett, who's now a top 5 guy. But Del Valle is legit. This is a step up in competition for sure, because I don't think Jordan Levitt is fixing this fight. So let's go with Yadier Del Valle. Now, for the third fight of the night, this is a fight that I am absolutely psyched for. John Paul Lebosnayani making his UFC debut. That's not the correct record, by the way. It says 1-0. That is not his record. His record is like 9-2, I think. This is his UFC debut, though. So maybe, is that his UFC? No, that can't be his UFC record, because Del Valle is not 10-0 in the UFC. So they kind of messed up on the record here. And Phil Rowe. Phil Rowe is replacing Austin Vanderford. It doesn't matter. John Paul Lebosnoyani is without a doubt the best prospect you have to watch in 2026. He is elite, and I mean this in every sense of the word. This is his UFC debut. He won his first fight on Dana White's Contender Series by vicious head kick knockout, had the guy out cold on his feet, landed a flush right hand, and crumpled him. And this was all within the first 15 seconds. He's 9-2. He's insanely talented as a grappler. He's very good in striking. You are looking at an Ilia Topuria of welterweight. And I don't say that lightly. John Paul Lebosnoyani is genuinely my favorite prospect for 2026. Forget about Ateba Gautier. Forget about anybody else. Jean Paul Lebosnoyani is going to demolish Phil Rowe here tonight. And I am so confident in that I would pick Jean Paul Lebosnoyani to fight anybody on the welterweight roster outside the top 15, and he would get it done. There are some guys fighting later that you'll see that are very good outside the top 15, and Lebosnoyani makes easy work of them. So for this fight, give me Lebosnoyani by finish. No doubt. Now, Ramiz Brahimaj and Punahele Soriano. Soriano is coming off of a very weird win against Veretennikov, and he gassed himself out. It was the ugliest fight I've seen. I believe it was UFC 320. Um, yeah, I think it was UFC 320. It was Ankalaev and Pereira too, I think. But I'm sorry, how can you be a wrestler like Punahele Soriano and you just can't have cardio? He'll grapple you for 2 rounds and then gas out. And the funniest part about this matchup is that Ramiz Brahimaj has a really, really good guillotine. He is a very good choker. Okay, I probably shouldn't say that. It probably doesn't sound great hearing that somebody's a good choker, but Brahimaj is good on the ground. He's very good when he gets a hold of you. Again, that didn't sound great, but whatever. Soriano is going to gas out, and Brahimaj is going to submit him. I have no doubt that that's exactly what's going to happen. And by the way, Jean-Paul Lebosniani makes easy work of both of these guys as well. But Brahimaj is my pick to win this one. Let's move on to the next fight. This one, Punahele is just not amazing, I don't think. His fight against Veretennikov was very lackluster. Give me Brahimaj for sure. Okay, this one will be interesting. Nora Cornol and Jocelyn Edwards. Edwards is good. Cornol coming off of a loss. Jocelyn Edwards is pretty good, I think. But the thing is about this is I'd have to say Nora Cornol is going to have a bit of more of an advantage. I think that she's probably going to get it done here. So I'll be brief with this one. I'm picking Nora Cornol. All right. I will be completely honest. I don't know these guys. I don't know why they're on this card. I don't know why they're fighting above Jean-Paul Lebosnoyani. I don't know why they're above Mufasa. By the way, Mufasa is such a sick name. Jean-Paul, bro, if Jean-Paul watches this, you have one of the top 5 nicknames in MMA at the moment. Mufasa is one of the sickest names in the entire UFC. So, anyway, Jean-Paul also makes easy work of these two. Who cares that they're flyweights? He'll knock them both out in the same night. So, who cares? Jean-Paul is the real deal. Not the meal deal, but the real deal. Alden Correa and Luis Garule. I'll be honest on this one, I'm just going to pick, based off of looks. This dude, Garule, kind of looks a bit like Marlon Moraes, a bit, I think, with the head shape. And then this guy, Alden Correa, I don't even know how you describe him. Maybe he looks a bit like Ricky Tercios. I'll go with the guy that's coming off a win here, so Alden Correa, but I really don't know anything about this fight. Call me a casual, call me whatever. Twink say what is a casual, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I'm taking Alden Correa. Let's go. Now then. This should be good. Ode Osborne. My thing is glitching. Ode Osborne and Alibi Idris. Idris was on tough. Ode Osborne is good. Okay? A lot of people don't really think of Ode Osborne as a great fighter. He's lost to good people. He got knocked out by Cop. That's not on... you're fighting one of the top guys. You can't know that you're fighting one of them. You know? Ode's good. I see a lot of him training. He's fast in his training. He is very fast. And Alibi is very green. I don't know that he is prepared. And he's coming off of his first loss of his career. I don't think he's prepared for a guy like Ode. Ode is a bit of a vet. He's been in the UFC for a while now. And I think Ode is going to probably win this fight. And I don't know that he'll do so super emphatically, but I think that Ode is going to win this fight. That's my pick on this one. Alibi's just too green. So give me Ode for this fight, which is what, the 6th fight of the night? Something like that. Let's move on. Chidi Bang Bang, and Carlos Leal. Carlos Leal is not good. I'm sorry. We need to talk about him. Carlos Leal was supposed to be the guy. He was supposed to be a huge prospect. And the dude got he got robbed against Rinat Fakhretdinov. And then he got knocked out by Muslim Salikov. Salikov is good, don't get me wrong. He has his moments, and he can be very powerful when he can be. The guy's also 41. Carlos Leal is not that good. And you guys will see that on display here. Chidi has the height advantage. He has the reach advantage. Chidi is not amazing either, I don't think. Chidi's not a good fighter. He's not going to be a ranked fighter for a reason. He will probably be a journeyman his whole career. It is what it is. That's what happens. But Chidi is absolutely going to win this fight because Chidi is the better fighter. Carlos Leal was not a good prospect for the UFC. They were trying to push him a bit after that fight against Fakhretdinov. They tried to give him what they thought would be a layup against Salihov, and he got knocked out. So, give me Chidi and Njokuani, I think, to win this fight. And I think he'll do it pretty emphatically, too. He'll probably knock out Carlos Leal. If Salihov at 41 was knocking out Carlos Leal, Njokuani's probably going to do it as well. Granted, Njokuani's last fight, I think, was against Jake Matthews, and he got choked out pretty badly. But Jake Matthews is a crafty vet, man. People forget. So, give me Chidi. Chidi Bang Bang. It's also a pretty good nickname. Not as good as Mufasa, but a pretty good nickname. So that concludes the prelims. Now we're on to the real stuff. Okay. We've got Michel Demolidor, also Tel Aviv's finest soldier, Pereira. And then we got Zach Reese. I think I saw the odds on this one, and they favor Pereira slightly. Why? Pereira he has the worst cardio in middleweight, I think. They need to schedule him versus Abus Magomedov to see who has the worst cardio. I don't know if that fight's even happened. I don't think it has. But Pereira is not that good. He's very entertaining, don't get me wrong. He'll probably do some flying around, some cartwheels, probably land a nice flying knee on Zach Reese at some point. But Zach Reese is coming off a good win. He won against a guy that he came in on like 3 days' notice. So, and not just that, I think it was the same card that Yadier Del Valle was last on, which was that Steve Garcia card. But Zach Reese is good. There's no reason for Zach Reese not to be the favorite. He should be a minus 200 favorite at that. So Zach Reese is not only if you want my personal advice, Zach Reese is definitely winning this fight. And if you're going to place any bets, you're going to place your bets on Zach Reese. That's my opinion. Michel Pereira, he's entertaining, don't get me wrong. That's why the UFC keeps him around. But he's not that good. I'm sorry. He choked out Oleg Sejcik. That was probably the best win of his career, I think. I don't remember who else he's beaten that's good, but Oleg Sejcik is a good win. But give me Zach Reese. Pereira's going to gas out, man. He does this every fight. Unless Pereira is like a middleweight Terrence McKinney in a way, except he just isn't finishing people in the first round anymore. He finished Oleg Sejcik early. That's it, I think, since then. So give me Zach Reese. Next up, okay. This one is an interesting one. Josiah Harrell is 7-0, making his debut. He was supposed to fight, I believe it was Jack Della Maddalena back at UFC 290. He got diagnosed with a super bad brain thing, and they did an MRI on him, and they got him surgery and whatever, so he's back. Jacoby Smith is good. He struggled for a brief bit against Nico Price. He couldn't finish Nico Price early. I think it took him to the second round to finish Nico Price. And Nico Price is, I'm sorry, old. He's unk. He's done for. Nico Price is just not great. Sorry. But Jacoby Smith is good. Josiah Harrell is in an unfortunate spot. By the way, John Paulo Bosniani finishes both of these guys. Mufasa demolishes anybody outside the top 15 in welterweight, and that is a fact. He could even go into the top 15 right now, and I wouldn't even be mad. Josiah Harrell is making a bad debut for himself. He's probably about to lose his O against a Jacoby Smith. Jacoby Smith is good. He was supposed to go against Sakyon Kyo. Sakyon Yo. I don't remember if that's how you say it, but Sakyon, he pulled out, right? Harrell replaces him. But you got to give me Jacoby Smith on this one. He's just a very good prospect. He's a very, very good prospect, and he's one that I'd keep my eye on in 2026 as well. I think he will win here against Josiah Harrell. It'll be a good fight, but I think he'll win, for sure. But it should be an entertaining fight between two very up-and-coming prospects. Okay, now this one. A lot of you guys are going to hate me on this one. Sergey Spivak is the favorite, the slight favorite. I think he's like minus 125. Sergey Spivak should not be in the UFC top 15. Let me say that again. Sergey Spivak should not be in the UFC top 15. Ante Delia is far better than him. Delia is going to absolutely maul Spivak. There is no question about it. Delia probably knocks him out. Delia's one and only loss in the UFC thus far has been to Waldo Cortez. And Waldo Cortez Acosta is a good fighter. A very good fighter. Delia is also a good fighter. But it shouldn't even be close. Unless Spivak gets a fluke submission, give me Delia. There's no way that Delia should lose this. So I'm taking Ante. For the third fight on our main card, we have Dan Ige and Melchizael Costa. Melk Coffee, he describes himself as ex-black in his Instagram bio, which is certainly a choice. You can see he still has a bit on his cheekbone. But yeah, he's basically lost it all. He had vitiligo, Dalmatian as his profile picture, I think, which is kind of funny. I love that he plays into it, you know? Dan Ige. Here's the thing about Dan Ige, right? He just lost to Patricio Pitbull. Patricio Pitbull is a 38-year-old prospect. You can't be 38 years old and be a prospect. Dan Ige is good. He knocked out Andre Fili, who has the worst nickname in UFC history, but whatever. Touchy. Anyway, Dan Ige knocked him out. He's knocked a couple of guys out cold. But then again, if you look at Melky's last fight, he knocked Morgan Charrier, the last pirate, I think it was, the last pirate. He knocked him out cold on the last card of the year. Slumped him. Give me Costa by, I'm not going to say domination or finish, but he definitely won't be close. Melky is a very good prospect. That Steve Garcia beating Melky has aged perfectly for him. Give me Costa, but unfortunately, I'm worried Ige is going to lose his ranking, which would suck because he's a good fighter. He deserves to be in the top 15. Just Melky is better. So give me Melchizael Costa to win this fight. Now, we move to a very weird... By the way, Jean-Paul Bosniani knocks out Jeff Neal and he submits Uros Medic. Hands of Steel is not doing anything against Mufasa. But anyway, Uros Medic has a 100% finish rate when he wins. Jeff Neal is coming off of the worst KO of his career. He got slept by Prates. Badly, mind you. It sounded like a coconut being hit against the table, just... sounded like he broke his skull. That's how bad it was. So, in this one, I'm going to have to go with Uros Medic, and the reason for that is, they're trying to build for a UFC Serbia card, it seems. It would be very funny, not going to lie, it would be very funny if you had, like, Ante Delia, you had Uros Medic, you had Brahimaj, because he's Albanian, you had, I don't think there are any Bulgarians in the UFC, closest you have is the guy named Bulgarian, and he's gone, but whatever. Get a Romanian on there, you know, get Volk on there because, you know, he's Macedonian. Just get all of, like, the Slavs together, get all of the Balkans together on the UFC Serbia card. Getting all the Slavs together in one place has never failed in history. I think it'll be good. Give me Uros Medic to win, probably by finish. He finished all of his other opponents. He's going to finish Jeff Neal too, and he's going to be probably the co-main or main event of the UFC Serbia card. But it'll be good. I think Medic is going to win this, though, for sure. Now, it's time for this, and this is the real discussion. Buckle your seatbelts. Sean Strickland is coming off of a loss, sure. Who cares? Is there anybody out there who can genuinely think, after seeing Sean Strickland come out on 10 days' notice and not knock out, but absolutely demolish Nasruddin Imavov, is there anybody that thought that Sean Strickland would win against Adesanya? It doesn't matter the odds. The odds have Anthony Hernandez at 70% to win. Strickland is at 30%, okay? It is 100% true that Sean Strickland's winning this fight. Remember, people had Joaquin Buckley at like 80% to beat old Kamaru Usman, and Usman showed him levels. Sean Strickland is going to stuff Hernandez's takedowns. Strickland has some of the best takedown defense in the entire middleweight division. That is a fact. Okay? He will absolutely win this fight, and I think there is zero chance for Anthony Hernandez to win. He doesn't win on the feet. Sean is going to jab teep him to an absolute war and go to decision and win 49-46. Maybe even a 49-45 if he knocks down Hernandez a bit. Who knows? Maybe he toys around with Anthony. He's already called Anthony, you know, he's already said Anthony's getting deported. He's already said that he's an honorary ICE agent. He's already in Anthony Hernandez's head. Fluffy has spoken at length about Sean, like, and the ICE post. If you haven't seen it, Sean Strickland posted himself as an ICE agent and Hernandez in, like, a sombrero and, like, the Mexican coat, a poncho, and said that he's going to deport Anthony, right? Anthony Hernandez's best win is Roman Dolidze. He should not be the number 4 contender based off a win against Roman Dolidze. Roman Dolidze doesn't deserve to be in the top 15. I think they have him booked for a fight he's most definitely going to lose. I don't remember who it's against. It's against a good prospect. But Dolidze should not be in the top 15. And Anthony Hernandez should not be in the top 5. Sean Strickland is going to prove, once again, that he belongs at the very top. And when he wins this fight and takes 0 damage, I guarantee you that the UFC is going to have him leapfrog Imavov because he beat Imavov, and they're going to give Sean Strickland the title fight against Khamzat. And that will happen in 2028 because Khamzat is never fighting again. In fact, I bet Khamzat will retire with the belt in 2031 after precisely 0 defenses. Hernandez does not have the level of grappling that Khamzat does. He also does not have the level of striking that Sean does. So for this fight, if you are picking anything but Sean by vicious jab teep decision, by 25 minutes of straight domination and war, you're out of your mind. So for the final fight of the night, we're going with Sean Strickland by decision. Because what else would you pick Sean Strickland by? So there you have it. Those are my picks for UFC Fight Night Houston, where it will be Sean Strickland versus Anthony Hernandez. It'll be a good card, though. I'm looking forward to it. But thank you all so much for watching, and like and subscribe for more. I'm trying to post some more long-term content, so let's see how this goes. But yeah, those are my picks. Thanks for watching.